Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about anxiety, and obviously I'm talking about this for a couple of reasons. The first is the fact that firstly everyone gets anxious at some point in their life, everyone gets stressed, and usually at times there are going to be extremes of that, which is kind of where we're going to be looking at this stuff today. But also, in a lot of the people that I've coached and a lot of the things that I've done with them, um, a fair number of them have felt really anxious. They've almost had kind of real periods of anxiety just around some of the questions I'm asking, because obviously sometimes they can be really hard to answer. The potential implications of some of the things that we discuss can be quite wide ranging and quite severe, and so as a result, some of my clients have a little bit of an issue at times with getting a bit stressed out by the fact that we're talking. And yeah, I'm not pushing them too hard or anything like that. If they start getting that way, then we can take a step back, we can take a break, we can see how things pan out. But what it comes down to is, that anxiety is a thing that a lot of people have to deal with to varying degrees, and so as a result, it's something that I kind of wanted to address. As someone that maybe when I was a lot younger would be a lot more anxious, would be a lot more worried about things than maybe I am now, because quite frankly nowadays I just don't care. But as a result, I've got four things here that I just want to touch on in regards to anxiety, some of which are kind of active things to help, and some of which are kind of more things just to think about and more to realize and recognize, so that maybe it's easier to handle, just to change your perspective on it. And so the first thing is that anxiety is just a set of chemical reactions in your brain. Yeah, it's literally the kind of fight or flight response in a moment, and as a result, it being just another chemical in your body, in your brain, it's something that you can deal with. It's a material thing. As hard as it might be to get inside your own head or to mess with what's going on inside your body, it is a material thing. It's not something that's just ephemeral and this evil shadow creeping up on you, or just this weird feeling that you get inside as your chest closes up as things start to get hard for you. It is a material thing that can be dealt with. Yeah, and that's something that's important to keep in mind, because a lot of kind of anxiety that I've seen at any rate also seems to come with a kind of antipathy, kind of not really having much motivation to do anything about it, because it just seems so overwhelming and so big and so nebulous. It's your brain is defining things as threats to you that may very well have been threats to you when you were very, very small as a child, and it's just built that bridge in your mind between this thing and bad, and as a result, like you're running with it, and your brain is going to continue to do that kind of thing. But there are ways to stop it, and that's the important thing to recognize here. So the next thing that I feel needs to be addressed is the fact that the negative pathways are probably from somewhere earlier, an earlier experience. Yeah, that, as I've said in other videos, the now is what's important. Just because something happened to you then doesn't necessarily mean that the carry off of that at the time is the same as the carry off of it would be right now. And as a result, a lot of these things kind of get built into your brain when you're younger. Those feelings of anxiety are literally like warning signs. They're fear signals to warn you away from harm, to keep you away from falling off cliffs, from lowering your chances of survival by pissing people off, by preventing action that could be risky. It's those kind of things that these feelings, these compulsions and whatever else are there to try and help you with. Unfortunately, when you're small or when you're still developing, you're not necessarily the most objective observer of your own situation, and so as a result, some of those things get blown way out of proportion. The number of people nowadays who are suffering from various forms of social anxiety when there is overall not really much in the way of reason for it, but purely based on their own perceptions, that's a huge thing. But we'll get onto that in a little bit. The third thing that needs to be addressed is also that as much as the negative signals are kind of like a direct passage from fear into the part, or rather from the stimulus, from the thing to the fear reaction in your brain, the same can be said of the kind of self-soothing, making you feel better kind of signals. Now, with these though, they're easy, they feel good, they help you relax, they take away the bad, and so as a result, the kind of carry away from that is that if you continue to follow those same paths that you've always followed, then nothing's going to change, and that's a bit of a problem when you're suffering from something, when something that you find hard to deal with doesn't just maybe stress you out a little bit, but actually makes you border on having an anxiety attack or something. Just taking the normal route that you would normally take just to calm yourself back down isn't going to help you then the next time you come across that. But here's the thing, you can change it the same way that you can change the negative responses, you can change the positive responses. The thing is, it has to become a habit. Yeah, so if you've done the same thing all your life, then that's going to be potentially quite a hard amount of work, or a large amount of work, and a quite hard task just to rejig those things in your head, just to change those passageways between stimulus and reaction. But it is doable, and the way to do it, most habits take between like 30 and 60 odd days to develop. So like maybe say 40 odd days, 45 odd days is the amount of time you should be focusing on kind of rejigging what's going on in your head. And the way to do that is literally every day, to build up a habit. Whenever you feel this thing, or whenever you want to deal with this thing, once every day, do it. Yeah, as soon as you feel it, as soon as it's a thing that comes into your mind, into your body, whatever, do a very specific thing. Yeah, so if you're anxious over getting a job done, then instead of having a panic or anything like that, actually dedicate an amount of time per day, every day for like 2 months odd, to like directly address that thing. Yeah, so I don't know, let's say that it's project work that you're having anxiety over, in which case fair enough, every day focus time on the way that you're working on that project. Yeah, or doing work on the project, focus on that so that every day you're used to doing it. And then after about 2 months, 45 days odd, whatever, that's when you're going to start feeling good about it. You're going to, you're not going to continually be stuck in the same rut, because you're going to be taking an action that will help you feel better about it, instead of just having to retire away from it and run away from it in a regards to a fear response. And now the last thing that I want to say is that these things won't fix themselves. As said, they become cyclical, and especially in the world today, when a lot of the issues aren't anxiety over real things, they're anxiety over social issues, or over friends, or just general social anxiety because people are scary. The reason why that is because we live such an easy life at the moment. Yeah, when you're not physically threatened, your fear responses move towards the social, because in a more evolutionary sense, the maintaining the social is secondary to actual survival, but is just as important, as those other people will inform your survival. They will help you with it. And so the social anxiety, the holding yourself back to not piss people off and stuff like that, that's important. And so our animal brains are the kind of cause of this, where we're turning around and we're worried that because we're not threatened by the rest of the world, we're going to be threatened by our fellow man, by other members of the species, when actually, statistically speaking, based on evidence, we're the safest we have been in centuries, really. And so what it comes down to is, don't wait too long to fix it. Start generating those new habits, start changing your perspective. Big thing, again, as I've said in numerous other videos, evidence is the way forward, because your own perceptions, people being scary and whatever else, they're going to be things that are going to start those cycles. But when you're trying to look for soothing, kind of sukha-giving new methods by which to handle this, looking to evidence is a good idea, because evidence is the way the you can't argue with it. It's very straightforward. It's not something that you can fight against. Yeah. And so those are the things that I would say. Just to recap, it's all it's in your head, but it's material. It's fixable. The stressing side of things, the negative side, use evidence to counteract it. Realize that the issues that you're perceiving may very well have been relevant in the past, but may very well not be relevant now. Soothing circuits, soothing development of your kind of coping mechanisms and things, they all just need to be a very kind of over time developing a new habit approach to it, because afterwards you'll just do it automatically and it'll feel good and you'll reap the benefits of that. And also, as much as I'm saying these first three things, if you don't take action and you don't change your perspective by yourself, if you're not willing to take that on board, then unfortunately you're going to be stuck in that cycle and you're not going to be able to help yourself. Yeah? So, and these things are things that you can do. There's no reason why you can't. So, anyway, what do you guys think? Have you guys had experience with anxiety and the issues that surround it? What do you do to calm yourself and keep yourself going? How much do these things that I've just listed off apply to you? Please let me know. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you found this video at all interesting or enjoyable, then please drop us a like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.